Welcome back to OneStopTutorials.com. Alibaba back again from sunny Thailand. We're back again with Photoshop. You Photoshop fans, in this tutorial we're going to be getting into brighten up some eyes. Okay, now I've got a few techniques in this. Hopefully I can show them both in one tutorial, but if not, we'll do it in another one. So in this first tutorial, what I want to do is show you one technique, and this is by using blending modes and a quick mask. Okay, now to get into the quick mask, all you need to do is click this little box here on the left, okay, and this will allow you to get into the quick mask. And you'll notice you're in the quick mask because anytime you're in the quick mask, the foreground and background color are always black and white. A quick mask will allow you to make a selection just by painting the selection on. Okay, now if you didn't want to use that button there and you want to use a shortcut key, the shortcut key is Q on your keyboard, and again you will notice that you've come in a quick mask mode. To flip from foreground and background color, all you do is hit X on your keyboard and you will notice that we're flipping from black to white. Okay, in this technique, let me show you what it does and I'll explain how the black and white actually works. I'm actually going to zoom in by holding down Alt or Option on my keyboard, and I'm just going to, with my middle mouse, just flip myself in. Okay, now the way this works is with black selected you paint. Okay, you paint stuff on. With white selected, so by hitting X on my keyboard, that will flip me to white as foreground. White will delete what you've just drawn. Okay, and what it means is that, let's go back to black by hitting X on my keyboard. Once I've drawn something, if I come out of quick mask mode by hitting Q on my keyboard or hitting this box here, you'll notice that has made it into a selection. So this is pretty funky stuff. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to choose white as my foreground color, and there we go. So basically we're going to make a selection around this eyeball. So I'm going to have black as my foreground color, select my brush tool. I'm going to have about a 9 size brush, soft edge brush. Okay, normal mode, 100% opacity, everything is looking good, and I'm just going to zoom in one more just so I can get in nice and close. And all you want to do is hold down your left mouse button and you just simply want to click and draw. Okay, now if you want to make your brush size smaller, just use the bracket keys. Mine is next to the P on my keyboard. That will allow you just to make your brush size smaller. Okay, we don't have to be too majorly concerned about our selection at the moment because we're going to come in a bit later on. We're going to use a mask and we're going to edit it anyway. So that's one eye die. I'm done. One eye die. One eye done. I'm just going to hold down spacebar and you'll notice my cursor turns into a hand. I'm just going to left click and that will allow me to move across. Okay, and I'm going to do the same with this one. Just come in and paint. I remember when I first started using this quick mask, I could never work out why it was red. You know, I used to always think, why would I want to paint red on there? I just couldn't get it. Okay, until finally one day the brain kicked in and I realized that this is an absolutely great way of making a selection around something. Okay, so like I say, we don't need to be perfect. We're going to come back in anyway and have a look. So I'm just going to zoom out. Another way of zooming out is hold down Control or Command on your keyboard and click the minus sign, and that will move you out and you'll be able to see what's going on. So there we go, we've got our red eyes. She's looking like a demon. Okay, and what I want to do to exit quick mask mode, all I want to do is hit Q on my keyboard and that will allow me to exit, or just quite simply hit this box depending if you want to use shortcuts or not. So we're looking good. The problem at the moment we have is we are actually, if I zoom right out, you'll be able to see we have everything selected except for the eyeball. Okay, what I want is I just want the eyeball selected. So the way to invert your selection is to hold down Control Shift, or that's Command Shift on a Mac, and then hit the letter I, and you'll now notice that the only thing selected is the actual eyes, and that is what I want. Okay, I'm just going to zoom in a bit. So now we have our selection. What do we do next? So what I want to do now is, the first thing I want to do is I want to duplicate this layer. Okay, and there's a couple of ways of doing this, but one of the easiest ways is to hold down your left mouse button, drag this down to the new layer icon, and that will duplicate this layer. Okay, next thing I want to do is I want to change this blend mode. Okay, so you can change blend modes in the layers palette just by clicking this drop down menu, and you'll notice that you have a lot of blending options. We're going to be going through quite a lot of these during the tutorial, so hang it in there. The one I want in particular, and this one is called Screen. Okay, now you will notice now that basically everything has become light. The whole image has become light. Well, that's not a major problem. as we have the eyes selected, okay, what that means now is when we come to making a mask, and the mask is this little square box with a circle in the middle, you just simply left click on that. You will now notice that everything has gone back to how it was, and in our little mask you'll notice that we got these two eyes. Well, what you've done basically is you've got a mask. It's just like wearing a normal mask, but this mask is now, as it's a black mask, it is hidden behind this image. So let me show you what I mean. If we grab the brush tool, okay, and again using black and white, I'm going to use white though because our mask is black. Just think of it, anytime your mask is black, white will allow you to bring the information back. Now if I just do something here, you'll notice that all that lightness is coming back. That is because this mask is underneath, okay. The opposite way would have been that if this mask was white, that means everything, all this white would have been showing, and we could have brought back the original background image, okay. I sort of hope you understand what I'm talking about. So what we have now is, as you can see, it's actually applied these eyes to be more bright, okay. So if I show you, this was before, this is after, you can now actually see that those eyes have become really bright. What I want to do now is, as we have a mask, and mask is absolutely awesome, I want to come to the brush tool. I want to select white, sorry, I want to select black, and what I want to do is just bring my brush size down. I just want a small brush size, and I want to get rid of some of this excess, and what I actually want to do is bring back these darker edges, okay. I'm just gonna, all I'm doing is painting over it because I'm selected on the mask. I have black selected as my foreground color. That will allow me to delete any of the excess brightness that we've actually made, okay. And again, I'm just going to come around. I just want to keep these edges nice and black, just trying to keep these eyes to look as real as possible, okay. So let me just zoom out a bit so you can have a look. Again, here is before, here is after. So you can see that with this technique, it's actually really made those eyes. Now if they're too bright, just simply click on the opacity here, drag the opacity down, and that eventually when you get to 0 there'll be no lightness left. So we could just bring this down to a nice reasonable size. Now what you could also do is you could actually now, just by left clicking on this, dragging this to a new layer and duplicating it, what you can now do on this one is change this blend mode to something else. I'm going to try a soft light, okay, and now you'll notice what we got here. We've now got, if I bring the opacity up, it's brought more of a darker look to it. Again, we can play with the opacity settings so we can bring some of that darkness back. Let me just show you before and after. So we can actually come through either one of these. We can come in, play with the opacity, start to get the look we want, and there we go. Before, after. And let me just zoom out so you can get a real good look at this. Before, after. So that's just one technique of lightening up eyes, and again, playing with blending modes, you can really come out with some nice stuff. Just come in and play with the opacity as well. So that's it for this tutorial. That's one technique. In the next tutorial, we're going to come into the second technique. Take it easy, guys and girls. Please subscribe to my YouTube and my website. And if you've got any questions, any problems, please let me know. I shall catch you guys and girls at the next one-stop tutorials. Laters, everyone.